"Don't ruin your brother's wedding. Stay home," they said. The words weren't whispered. They weren't said with gentle concern. They were thrown at me like a verdict. Like I was the storm and the wedding was the fragile glass house that couldn't survive my presence. But they had no idea what was coming. Family weddings are supposed to be beautiful. White flowers, golden lights, laughter echoing across banquet halls, perfectly edited Instagram stories. But what people don't see are the cracks beneath the surface, the silent rivalries, the old wounds dressed up in new suits, the smiles that don't quite reach the eyes. My brother's wedding was meant to be perfect. He was the golden child, the achiever, the one who made our parents proud. Stable job, perfect fiancé, perfect house, perfect life. And then there was me, the unpredictable one, the risk taker, the one who left home early, built a business from scratch, failed publicly, got back up quietly, and stopped asking for permission to exist. To them, I was chaos in human form. When the wedding invitation came, it wasn't even mailed. It was hand-delivered with tension. "Please," my mother said carefully, "just, don't make it about you." I laughed at first. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. My brother didn't call me himself. He sent a message. "Hey, it would mean a lot if you came. Just, keep things smooth. No drama, no drama." I stared at those two words for a long time. The truth is, I hadn't spoken much to my brother in over a year. Not because we hated each other, but because somewhere along the way, distance grew roots. We stopped sharing dreams. We stopped confiding fears. We became polite strangers bound by blood. And yet, they were afraid of me showing up. Not because I was reckless. Not because I would embarrass them. But because I knew the truth. I knew about the nights he called me, doubting whether he was ready to marry. I knew about the pressure he felt to be perfect. I knew about the expectations crushing him slowly. I knew about the fight he had with his fiancée weeks before the engagement party, the one no one else knew about. I knew because I was the only one he ever showed his cracks to. And maybe that was what scared them. So when they told me to stay home, it wasn't really about ruining the wedding. It was about controlling the narrative. They wanted a flawless story. A picture-perfect celebration. No unpredictable speeches. No emotional revelations. No reminders that beneath the tuxedo was a human being terrified of making the wrong decision. But here's the thing about being the so-called black sheep of the family, you eventually stop fearing disapproval. You get used to being misunderstood. And you start seeing things clearly. The days leading up to the wedding were filled with subtle hints. Maybe it's better if you skip the rehearsal dinner. Let's not bring up old stories. Please don't give a speech unless we approve it first. Approve it first. I almost didn't go. I considered booking a last-minute trip somewhere far away. Sending a polite message. Watching the wedding through photos like a distant cousin. But something stopped me. It wasn't pride. It wasn't stubbornness. It was love. Because despite everything, despite the comparisons, the tension, the assumptions, he was still my brother. The kid I used to share a room with. The one who covered for me when I came home late. The one who told me once, when we were teenagers, "You're braver than me." So I went. The day of the wedding arrived bright and loud. The venue shimmered with elegance. Guests floated in tailored suits and flowing gowns. Laughter spilled from every corner. And when I walked in, conversations paused, just slightly. You know that feeling when you enter a room and people don't expect you. It's subtle. A flicker in their eyes. A recalculation. I smiled anyway. My brother stood at the front, greeting guests. When he saw me, something shifted in his face. Not fear, not annoyance, relief. Real, undeniable relief. He walked over and hugged me, tightly. Longer than necessary. "I'm glad you came," he whispered. In that moment, I understood everything. It was never him who didn't want me there. It was everyone else who didn't understand our bond. The ceremony was beautiful. Vows exchanged. Tears wiped away. Applause rising like a wave. But throughout it all, I could see it, the tension in his shoulders. The way he exhaled too deeply between smiles. Then came the reception. Music thumped. Glasses clinked. The dance floor filled. Speeches began. His best man told funny college stories. His bride's sister shared sentimental childhood memories. Safe. Polished. Predictable. Then the microphone was offered to any family members who'd like to say a few words. Every eye turned to me. There it was. The moment they feared. I stood slowly. You could almost hear the collective inhale. As I walked to the stage, I felt strangely calm. Not angry. Not rebellious. Just clear. I took the microphone. "I was told not to ruin this wedding," I began. A ripple of nervous laughter spread across the room. But I'm not here to ruin anything. Silence settled. I'm here because I love my brother. And if there's one thing I know about him, it's that he doesn't need perfection. He needs honesty. I glanced at him. His eyes were locked on mine. Growing up, everyone thought he was the strong one. The responsible one. The one who had it all figured out. But what most people don't know is that he's also the one who cares the deepest. Who worries the most. Who wants to make everyone proud, sometimes at the expense of himself. The room was still. I'm not here to expose secrets. I'm not here to create drama. I'm here to say something simple. I turned toward his bride. He chose you, not because it looked good, not because it was expected, but because when he talks about you, his voice changes. It softens, it steadies, her eyes filled with tears. And to my brother, you don't have to be perfect today. Or ever. Marriage isn't about being flawless. It's about being real. And you, more than anyone I know, are capable of real. There were no gasps, no chaos, just quiet emotion. I was told to stay home, I finished. But I would have regretted missing the chance to tell you this in front of everyone. I'm proud of you. Not for this wedding, not for the job, not for the image, but for the man you are when no one's watching. I handed back the microphone. For a second, nothing happened. Then my brother stood up, walked across the room, and hugged me in front of everyone. And just like that, the fear dissolved. The rest of the night flowed differently. People approached me, not with suspicion, but with warmth. I didn't know you two were that close. That was beautiful. Thank you for saying what we all feel. And I realized something powerful. Sometimes, when people tell you to stay home, it's not because you're destructive. It's because you're disruptive. You challenge the illusion. You bring depth where others prefer surface. You speak truths that make people uncomfortable, not because they're wrong, but because they're real. But here's the twist. The wedding wasn't ruined. It was remembered, not for drama, not for scandal, but for authenticity. Weeks later, my brother called me. You know, he said, laughing, Mom admitted she was wrong about you. I smiled. It wasn't about being right. It was about showing up. Showing up when it's easier to disappear. Showing up when people doubt you. Showing up when your presence makes others uneasy, not because you intend harm, but because you carry honesty. Life will hand you moments like that. Rooms where you're underestimated, events where you're quietly uninvited, conversations where your voice feels unwelcome. And you'll have a choice. Stay home, or show up anyway, not to prove a point, not to steal attention, but to stand in your truth calmly and unapologetically. Because the people who truly matter won't fear your presence. They'll find strength in it. That wedding taught me something I'll never forget. You don't ruin things by being real. You ruin them by pretending. So the next time someone tells you, don't ruin it, stay away, ask yourself, are you a threat to the event? Or a threat to the illusion? There's a difference, and sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do isn't staying silent to keep others comfortable. It's showing up with grace, speaking with clarity, and reminding everyone, including yourself, that authenticity isn't chaos. It's courage, and courage, even at a wedding dressed in white and gold, will never be the thing that ruins the day. It might just be the thing that saves it.